guys would be possible. Let's get into it, man. Starting right off. These women got a whole lot of ego. Listen, ego is something that everybody has, but the new man has full control of his ego. But unfortunately, not the modern woman. The modern woman, she's in a class of her own. Shout out to my new subscribers. Shout out to my neighbor that probably just subscribed. I appreciate you. You know what I'm saying? I appreciate the conversation. I was about to go live, and then my neighbor stopped, and you know, want to know what the channel is about. Things of that nature. Now, let's talk about it really quickly. I'm not going to hold y'all too long. I got to spend some time with my kid. He's off today. You know what I'm saying? You know how I feel about that kind of stuff. What's going on, bro? What's going on? Just chopping it up. We're going to talk about a few things about women's ego. Now, I got a members video coming where I'm going to talk, you know, like I'm talking to the bros, where I'm not going to be as soft-spoken with my words, you know, when I'm talking about these females of this nature. You know what I'm saying? I appreciate the 149, homie. Appreciate you. You know what I mean? Let's get this party started. That's how you start it off. Now, women will always take jabs at you, and you have to pay attention to what they take a jab at. They're always taking a jab at your pride. Pride. Oh, why are you so prideful? You're supposed to be. You're supposed to be. You're a man. You're supposed to have a healthy level of pride. See, they got everything all mixed up. They're conflating pride and ego because they don't want you to understand that the woman's ego is her downfall, and your pride is where you bask in your masculinity. Rock with me here. Rock with me. I'm on to something. I've been thinking about it all morning. You know what I'm saying? And all evening. Thought about it over and over and over. Talking to myself. My kid was like, he's like, Dad, can I go outside? I guess he thought I was talking to somebody. He said, hey, Dad, what are you? Talking to myself, man. Getting this together. You know what I'm saying? I want to make sure I had it right. Pride, you know what I'm saying? A man with pride keeps him from basking and operating his ego, which is his lower self. Every man is born with ego. As soon as you old enough, you know what I'm saying? What my dad would call smelling your ass. As soon as you're old enough to smell your ass, you start thinking you the shit. You know what I'm saying? You automatically, as a guy, start thinking you the shit until, you know, you get humbled. You know what I'm saying? Get humbled, man. And that's when that pride kicks in. You remember you're humbling and things of that nature. Now, women are never checked. So what creates, or what comes from an unchecked ego? A monster. Not all women, and definitely not ladies, but these females out here are monsters. You know what I'm saying? Unchecked ego. And operating out of big ego. Brag about it in their songs. You know what I'm saying? Absolutely. Low self-esteem. You know what I'm saying? But the unchecked ego is part of the low self-esteem. The unchecked ego is why the women feel like they can tell men how to be men. Where in the world, you barely know how to be a woman. Where and who told you it's okay to tell men how to be men? Who started that? When did it become socially acceptable? See, this is women operating out of ego, because if a woman, listen, women have pride in herself. Ladies have pride in themselves. I got interruptions going on. Ladies have pride in themselves, man. So they don't run around telling men how to be men. They don't operate in men's business. They don't run around trying to watch and police how men move. Like, I heard something about some black woman that's trying to, there's something going on with a couple YouTubers and stuff. But it seemed like some black lady and this dude named Obsidian, she's trying to push for legislation to go after guys in the manosphere. Like, this is ego driven. This is, I need to police you. This is, you know, who are you to feel like you're free? This is ego. There's no pride in that. See, pride keeps a man from operating in ego. Pride checks the ego. Pride in oneself, you know, pride in your belief and knowing of God, and knowing that God's going to work things out, keeps you from operating in ego and doing things on your own like most of these women are doing, and put you in a bad situation where you need to know at this point in time that you're not operating on the right side of history. You know what I'm saying? So this is what pride does. So when they try to gaslight you and say, oh, well, you know, man, pride comes before the fall and all this, blah, blah, blah. Where is ego being spoken of in that little saying? Why aren't people speaking about ego? Why aren't people saying anything like, the ego is what's gonna cause you to have your downfall? A healthy, you know what I'm saying, amount of pride is what keeps you from doing stupid things that you would normally do, operating in just your ego. How in the world? See, a woman will say, they'll talk out of the side of their neck, you know what I'm saying, in two different directions, right? They'll be over here talking about, I want a man, you know, who's got pride in themselves and carry himself with confidence, la da da da. And then they'll turn right around and be like, oh man, you know, these guys have too much pride. Where's this pride coming from? They're sassy. This is ridiculous. The pride is there because it's supposed to be there. Men get pride. Men have pride. We have pride in our last name. We're taught about pride. You know, that's how they talk you into going and defending your country. How else would they talk somebody into going and risking their life if it wasn't for pride, right? Men have pride. Pride is a good thing. Nothing wrong with pride. I believe pride checks your ego. You know what I'm saying? But when you don't have any pride, now let's talk about, you know what I'm saying, what causes somebody to have pride? Not compromising themselves, having a certain standard that, you know, been passed down from generation to generation, and just a knowing from God. And that pride keeps guys from doing stuff that exploits themselves and, you know, causes them not to be able to look themselves in the mirror. Now, when I say stuff like that, can anybody have ego? Yeah, we see women with ego all the time, but they don't have any pride. If they had pride, they wouldn't be out here selling pictures of their buttholes on like OF or things of that nature, right? All those certain jobs and stuff like that. Like this is stuff that people do where they're operating in ego and find all kind of things on the internet to justify their way of life, but they have no pride, right? There's no pride. And without pride or having some sense of pride, man, you're just an egotistical person running around here doing whatever you want to do, speaking in ways you shouldn't speak, talking to men in a way that you know that your mothers wouldn't have never done. You know, that's just not the way that things have done. You're trying to rewrite history and do it's ego. Everything's ego driven, while simultaneously telling men, well, you know, this is the way it's going to be. Well, it's the way it's going to be in the West, but it's not the way it's got to be overall or for us, okay? I'm not going to hold y'all up too long, but I'm just telling you what's going on. It's just ego operating females out here that don't understand that a man, listen, you know how hard it is for a man not to be in his ego all the freaking time, man. Look, a lot of alphas are, you know, it's hard, you know, when you get your stuff together and, you know, you start feeling yourself. The discipline is keeping yourself humbled, keeping yourself from running around operating in ego, not paying attention to what's going on around you, not noticing the ones plotting and scheming, and you moving in a way to where they can't never figure you out. You know what I'm saying? You'll get caught up in things, man. You'll start slipping. Next thing you know, your ass is grass. You know what I'm saying? That ego gets you messed up. But a healthy, you know what I'm saying, everybody does have ego. But it's all about moderation. It's all about making sure that you can balance things out, man. And I believe that pride balances the ego out for a man. I don't know how women operate internally. I don't know, whatever. But all I see is a bunch of ego and no one, like, there's not really too many women trying to have a healthy sense of pride. It seems like they don't mind, like, okay, for example, we're all trying to get money. Like I just said earlier, women, you know what I'm saying, we're all trying to get money. Women will do things like an NPC thing or OF or whatever, Lonely Fans, all this kind of stuff, you know, to get the bag, and then try to get online and tell you why it's not compromising, why it should be okay, and you shouldn't judge her. You know, while a man will get out the mud, work one of these jobs that women can't stand, and work his way up, build his money that way, and now he has a certain level of pride and standard. And you also know he won't do certain things because this man built himself up in a certain kind of way that other people can be proud of and proud of him. When you build yourself up with all kind of compromising different kind of ways, man, If you don't have any pride in yourself, and you'll do anything. Your ego will have you doing anything. You know, for example, these women out here are always talking about they want everything equal. Well, why aren't there just as many equally women out here being plumbers, construction workers, hard grunt labor jobs, you know, as there is women out here trying to get any kind of sit on their ass CEO office job, right? They don't really want it equal. You know what I mean? They want the best jobs with the least amount of work. Men take pride in some of these jobs. Some men know, like, listen, these are important jobs, regardless of whether I get glorified about it or not. These are very important jobs. And if I don't do this, who's going to do it? And they have a pride in their work, and that makes the work better. A lot of these females don't have any pride in their work. That's why it's okay for them to spread their cheeks and exploit their butthole for cash. And that pride, you know, keeps, you know, honest men honest, keeps the work that needs to get done, and doesn't have everybody out here like, well, I want to sit on my butt too and do barely anything. I want to cut corners and, you know, get to the bag as quick as possible, and, you know, have to have too much overhead or having to work too hard. See, men and women are built different. Women will find a way to get to where they want to go with the least amount of work and exploit, copy, mimic the men that they like, whatever it takes, right? Whereas men are going to have pride. Like if a man sees himself, I don't care who he is, if he sees himself mimicking a guy to a certain degree, his pride gonna kick in. He's gonna be like, all right, look, let me switch some things up a little bit, you know, for the most part. A woman will take whatever she needs. She'll be like, thank you, you know, and not even thinking twice about it. I'm telling you, man, we're built different, and most of these women in the West, their ego is crazy. Ego, no pride, that's a disaster. What's we got going on here? Don't get me started, man. Man, let's not even get started on this new generation. You want me to get this out? To me, excuse me, y'all. To me, take how you want to take it, man, but I believe the late model millennial is probably the worst, because they act like zennials, but they know better. So, and you probably know yourself a couple late model millennials, like early 90s or whatever it was, whatever that late model is. These are the confused generation, and they're the most entitled. They're the generation, I believe, where parents start talking and thinking about this, you know, front, you know, core, you know, latex, your corneal latex, whatever it is, your front part of your brain not being fully developed until a certain, like 25, and then coddling their kids way too long. And in that group right there, to me, seems like it started it off, man, like that group, you know. And I believe they're worse than the zennials, because they know better, they've seen better, they were around prior to a phone being in their hand as soon as they're old enough to remember. So, you know, but they're super sensitive, don't want to be told nothing, you know, think they know every single thing there is. That's ego. See, to me, pride and ego are two different ways, two different things, because ego is built off of nothing. So you're feeling entitled to a certain prestige or level of something that you haven't earned through, you know, blood, sweat, and tears. Where your pride gets built, where you're going through the grinder and the ringer of things, getting it out the mud, you get a healthy sense of pride. But see, these egotistical people, they were either carried to the top, it was super easy, they know that they didn't earn it, and they build this weird insecurity off of it, man. And then when they see a real one coming, they automatically have a problem with it, man or woman. Even if it's a woman that thinks that she wants a man like you, when she really sees that you're really working hard at it every day, it triggers them, man. It's like, this dude is doing it every day, fasting every day though, working out, cover work every day though. making sure they treat the right stuff every day, though, it's like it triggers them, man. It causes them to, you know, feel some type of way, and there you go. And you know what I'm saying? These women, they're built this way. They've done nothing but think they can tell men how to be men. They can tell a man when he's being a real one and when he's not. You know, they can gaslight you and say all kind of crazy things to you. You ever heard women when they're talking to, see, I'm not a victim shamer, but I'm like Dave Chappelle. Like, when someone tells me something, when some woman says, oh, this happened, I'm like, well, what did you say to him? You know, like, not like on some crazy stuff where he did too much, but like, oh, this guy was going off and I just had to dial it back. What did you say to him? What did you say? Oh, all I said, I didn't say what all you said. What exactly did you say and how did you say it? Because as a man, we know what they do to trigger us. They say certain things a certain way, so that way they can get out of accountability by saying, oh, all I said was, you know, he needs to da-da-da-da-da, or she might even say we. But you got to ask her, what did you say to him specifically? Did you say we? Or did you say he needs to? Because ain't no man trying to hear anybody tell him what he needs to be doing, especially as a woman. So how did you say things? Right? I like to do this kind of stuff, right? And you'll start realizing a lot of women operate in ego. They don't want to be told what to do. And when a guy's putting his foot down, they will gaslight you in a way that'll make you feel some type of way, like she's trying to question your manhood or your masculinity. And they know they do this kind of stuff. They know they will say certain things. That's why I say is get away from them. You know what I'm saying? Just when you realize a woman's toxic, get away from her ass, man. And all these females that operate out of ego, they're toxic as hell. And they're trying to convince you they're not. They are. If they're competitive, a woman with some good pride, healthy sense of pride, she doesn't argue with a man. She's not going to argue with the man. She's not going to jump on a man's podcast or in his comment. She's not going to do that stuff. She has pride in herself as a woman, pride in her family name, pride in what she's doing. What does she look like arguing with a man? That makes no sense. If that man is out of his character, why does she need to lower herself and do the same? See, this is an egotistical woman that'll get triggered by a man speaking whatever he has to say. A woman in pride, like in a healthy sense of pride or ego in check, would be like, well, he's allowed to feel that way. I don't agree. On to the next. Like, that's where you would think that they would operate. As a man with a healthy sense of pride and his ego in check, when women are trying to gaslight me, obviously saying certain things to try to trigger me, I'm thinking to myself at this point, being completely ascended, it's like, I'm not going to let this lower vibrational creature trigger me and get in my energy with all of her egotistical nonsense. Because the only way I trigger you as a human being, as a woman, is if you know that you're not doing the things that you need to do, and you know I'm outperforming you, and your ego is not in check, and you don't realize that you want a man. You really want a man that outperforms you. You want a man better than you, but you don't realize that. So you're chasing after this guy that's better than you, but when you find one that is, you start competing with him. And you start doing weird ass shit. Super GMO masculinity. And since men are used to seeing other men, I don't have any friends, dude. I compete with myself. And what it causes, if a man is not in his frame right, and he's got a little bitch in him, he'll get real insecure. He'll start, you know, beating his chest and saying and doing weird stuff around me. I pick up on it and I move away, right? So you got to be super comfortable in your frame. That's why I got one friend. He's the only one I've noticed, you know what I'm saying, in person, that, you know, is comfortable in his frame, man. He's like, he's an Aries. They always trying to be the best. You know what I'm saying? I've always said Aries want to be the best. You know what I'm saying? As far as fire signs go, Aries want to be the best. Sagittarius, they're the big dreamers. They're the big dreamers. But they cold-blooded. That's why they're in the middle of the winter. They cold-blooded. They'll cut your ass off and not think twice. And the Leo, they just want to shine, baby. They want to shine brighter than anybody else. It's just the way it is. It's the way it is. You know what I'm saying? So I had to have my friends, they're not Leos, because if they're not, a Leo is not awakened, That Leo gets competitive and insecure, male or female. My friend is an awakened Aries. He wants to be the best. So if he wants to compete with me, he will, and he'll let me know. And if he don't, he won't. And then, you know what I'm saying, he competes with, he has to compete with somebody. He's always playing basketball or something. They're competitive by nature. So he's doing something or something intellectually competitive, right? But he knows I don't play that stuff, so he doesn't do it to me. You know what I'm saying? He respects my boundary because he knows I'm an asset to have. Why piss me off? Like, he lets it go. He's comfortable in his masculinity. But like, any insecure dude starts competing automatically. It's like, any insecure female, same way. Exactly. I'm just being honest. And a woman, I just know women. I have a friend right now named Lucretia, man, and she's chill. We're friends. She's chill. She don't like press on me to message her back. She comes through whenever she can, and she likes the videos. She doesn't trauma bond or try to trauma dump on me about any. It's just she's in her feminine. She tells me what she learns from me. And if I say something to her like, oh, like, what have you noticed? She waits until I ask. And then she'll be like, oh, okay, you're asking. Okay, so this is what I've noticed about your channel. I'm like, oh, shit. Oh, I asked. You know what I'm saying? Stuff like that. You know, so it's like I put myself around people that can handle my energy, and I only let those people in my energy. So she has I don't feel no bad energy about her. And whenever we do connect, like as far as like talking to, I can feel really good energy. I can tell she's excited about talking to me. You know what I'm saying? And she gives me good insight from a woman's perspective. A woman that's, you know, knows her plays, like as far as like, you know, her role in a relationship and what a man could hear to help him out, right? So that's a woman that has a good sense of pride, and she ain't gonna like get out of her frame to get upset with me because I ain't text her back or whatever. It's not like that with her. You know what I'm saying? Anytime we catch up with each other, you know, we pick up where we left off at. It is what it is. Healthy pride, you know what I'm saying, to make sure ego is in check. These women that are outside of their frame, ego out of check, talking, how you gonna tell a man how to be a man? But I keep hearing these women being like, yeah, you men, and they drop their voice, and what you're imitating the man that you like the most. How in the hell are you gonna tell me how to be a man, mimicking the men that you like the most? I don't need no man telling me how to be a man. Real men get their knowledge and wisdom or whatever from the Most High. We're not out here listening, reaching for guidance from another man. What does that man got that I don't? How can he get closer to God and I can't? We're going to figure it out. We're not going to be looking and reaching and stealing from it. We're going to figure it out. Women just, you know, that are in their ego nowadays, they just take what they take, get online, run their mouth from what they heard, try to make it sound good, and hope nobody notice. Well, I notice. Look stupid. I'm not wasting my time. Not wasting my time. You know what I'm saying? So again, don't be over here bragging about, I got a big ego, such a big ego. Yeah, y'all do. Y'all got a big ego, man. It ain't nothing to be proud of. And don't be over here trying to shame men for having pride. Hey, that pride keeps men from acting like animals. That pride keeps men from going at y'all with the same veracity that y'all go with us. You need to be happy and you should be proud of men. How you gonna do that? Like, how are we gonna play with words like that? Every other sense of the word pride, you want everybody to be proud of you. I wanna be proud, I'm proud. But then when it's like when a man has healthy pride, oh man, his pride is in his way. No, his pride is supposed to be in the way. His pride is supposed to be in the way of him, and his ego, his lower self, and keep him from doing lower vibrational things outside of or inside of ego. So stop shaming men for having pride. If y'all had more pride, you wouldn't be online doing the stuff that you do just to get a bag. All money ain't good money. How many times we gotta tell y'all that? Can you look yourself in the mirror at night before you go to bed without crying? I know I can. I know I can, every day, all day. You know what I'm saying? Pride intact, ego in check. So I thought about this all day. Looks like I got the words together just like I needed to. You know, the way God wanted it said. All I gotta say is this, okay? Get yourselves a little bit of pride and you'll realize I don't have no business telling no grown-ass man what a real man is and how a real man moves. Based off of what? what you've seen and what you've heard, no real life experience, then shut the fuck up. I've been to Iraq 2 times, man. I've been homeless with a child. You know what I'm saying? I've gotten out of a bad relationship and I've built myself back up every single time. So how dare you think you have the right to tell me what you perceive to be minute imperfections in my character? How fucking dare you after the overall stuff I've gone through? Could you do it? Absolutely not. Well, then shut the fuck up. Why would I listen to you? Your ego's in the way. You're not allowing your pride to do what it's supposed to do. Keep you from telling grown men how to be men. So all this unchecked ego, it's not my job to check you. I'm not your daddy. I'm not your baby daddy. I'm not one of your badass kids out here causing problems in the streets. I'm a man minding his business with a healthy sense of pride, raising my 12-year-old son how to be a man. He's over there dribbling right now, getting his game down. Don't you ever tell grown men how to be men. See, when I get on here, I don't tell grown men how to be men. So as a man that's been a leader leading men, and I don't tell men how to be men, how and why in the fuck are you? Who made y'all? And can we send you back? Can we get a refund? Where did y'all come from? My mother would have never stepped out of her femininity, her pride. I don't care what my dad said to her. You never seen my mom get loud, no matter what was said to her. That's respect. That gets the utmost respect. Y'all be over here trying to get as loud and get as masculine as a man. You look like fools. Other men ain't scared of other men. What are you gonna do to make them scared of you? It don't make no sense. You have these small ass dudes going up against, they're like, you know what? I'm gonna try this motherfucker. I don't give a, they don't care. Why would they be scared of you? What do you think you're doing? You're mimicking what you see that makes you scared. You're projecting. Learn what's going on. Learn what's going on. You're projecting. That scares you. That doesn't scare a man. That doesn't scare a man. Maybe you getting quiet and you moving in silence afterwards. He would probably get more scared of that than you sitting over there trying to go back and forth with him and talk all big and bad like you're gonna do something to a grown ass man. He ain't worried about you. I'm telling you. I'm telling you straight up. You know what I mean? So listen, bask in your femininity, learn how to get some pride about you and learn how to respect men with pride. Because men with pride, those are the ones that don't match whatever you're trying to do as far as energy goes, physically and mentally and everything else. We'll normally be like, hey, listen, my mom raised me to, you know what I'm saying? And my dad always told me that women get emotional. So let me go ahead and remember that. You know what I'm saying? Take my family name. I got the same name as my dad. Take my family name into consideration and chill out. I got too much pride, you know what I'm saying, to be doing this stuff. Pride is good. Ego is bad. Ego is your lower self. Pride, you can just pretty much call that your higher self checking your lower self. Pride is good for men. Pride is built. You know what I'm saying? Ego is, what's what I'm looking for? Needs me. Moments. Entitled. You know what I'm saying? Ego is something that's felt entitled, and pride is earned. It's something that you earn, that you build. You know what I'm saying? I've built so much pride off, you know, 2 tours to Iraq, and I didn't know puss ass like support unit, tanker unit the first time over, cavalry scouts, you know, and that's more important than the infantry. They go in first. Our company motto was shoot them in the face. That was their company motto. Shoot them in the face, who? Like, it ain't nothing. Look, man, I built a lot of pride, man, up from the things I've had to do to get where I'm at. And for some internet people to think they can break me or an ex of mine or whoever, who are you? Ego-driven fools going up against a man that's in love with God. I'm not gonna say, I'm not a God-fearing man. When I say listen, when people say that's aligned right, that they're God-fearing, that doesn't mean that they're scared of the Almighty God. God is love. No. They don't want to be you. They don't want to be on the other side of God. They're afraid of that. They're afraid of that. And see, that's what I'm not going to do. I'm not going to do like you people, get on here and act a fool or and just figure out and try to figure out if God's real and hope he isn't. No, I'm going to do the right thing and let my karma build up right. You know what I'm saying? You people You know what I'm saying? On the other side, I'm afraid to be somebody like you, building up a bunch of negative karma and hoping it don't work out. And no, I ain't got time for that, man. It's too easy. Anyway, I'm not gonna hold you on any longer. 30 minutes is enough. I'm gonna get on here with the action video later on. You know how we do. Hey, what's going on? Health is wealth. Let me know pride. Absolutely. See? Another one. More pride, they would cover themselves up. More pride, they would know that they need to get a man and give all that to their man, and every random man's opinion don't mean nothing, right? That's for the ego. I know every random woman's opinion doesn't mean nothing. It's only the opinion of the woman that I choose that matters, right? And my opinion of myself, most importantly, period, point blank. It will end on that. I'm your brother and I love you.